Welcome back to the Big Saturday Show. President Biden lashing out at the press for negative coverage of his administration. Politico reporting the president personally berated reporters in an off-the-record chat aboard Air Force One. And it's not just the press that's giving him a hard time, it's his former colleagues, too. A former Obama advisor slamming the president in a USA Today op-ed titled, "Biden's careless comments are hurting his presidency and diplomacy. He needs a reset." Wow. Lara, I'm going to start with you, Lara, as a member of a family that the media never treated unfairly. They always had your back, went out of their way to make the Trumps look good. You must feel for Biden on some level. No?
You want negative coverage? I will show you negative coverage, Joe Biden. Go look at Donald Trump. Are you kidding me? I mean, this is so ridiculous to hear from Joe Biden. Really, 95% negative coverage of Donald Trump. That is not an exaggeration. That is a real statistic. There's nothing hyperbolic about it. And anyone that is being honest would remember that. It was 150 times more negative coverage of Donald Trump than currently of Joe Biden. And if you actually, Jimmy, look at the job between the two men and the differences in what they did for America, or in Joe Biden's case, to America, then my goodness, it should be Joe Biden receiving so much more negative coverage. Look at how Donald Trump positioned America. We had real low unemployment numbers, not the manufactured ones that we now have from Joe Biden. We were energy independent, manufacturing coming back, the economy that was roaring, not the destruction of America that we see currently happening with Joe Biden in the White House. This guy is so lucky that the press is on his side, because if they were honest, I mean, it would be just wall-to-wall coverage of just negative stories, because that's basically what Americans feel every day.
Yeah, I think that is a good point. And another point of clarity is, technically speaking, any question is a tough question for Joe Biden. Asking him what state he is what state he's in is sometimes challenging. But there's another Politico quote I want to throw up here, Guy. The Political article on Biden's complaints about the press says he used much of his time with reporters to criticize the quality and tenor of press coverage of his administration. And there's a growing frustration by the president and his family that he is not receiving the kind of generally more positive coverage they believe he deserves. Now, Guy, what I want to throw out there is, you often give me a lot of negative coverage on the Guy Benson show, a lot of which is probably warranted. But do you think Biden on some level is caught off guard by the fact that some members of the media are demonstrating just a little intellectual curiosity right now?
Yeah, and I think, Jimmy, we don't give you negative coverage on my show. We don't cover you at all on my show. And the reason we do that is because I'm scarred by talking about the last segment, all of your hazing of me in the Fox News Radio newsroom before every show. I'm bitter, and we can talk about that off air, perhaps. I kid, in case anyone at home is like, wow, fireworks. No, it's totally made up.
Intense.
Here's the thing. Joe Biden, and I feel like a broken record when I say this, Joe Biden does not have a messaging problem. To some extent he does, but that's not the crux of it. He doesn't have a media bias problem working against him. He has a reality problem. And when the reality is so overwhelming and undeniable that even this press corps, this constellation of journalists, the way that it currently exists, they can't cover it up, and they have to just report the news, and people can feel it every day in their own lives, just the constant whining is obnoxious. I said this on Outnumbered earlier in the week. If you're a Democratic politician and you have resorted to complaining and whinging that the mainstream media is too biased against you, you have absolutely not only failed but run out of ideas.
It's a great point. One other quote I want to share with you from Barack Obama's former director of global engagement. He said, Biden bears the lion's share of blame for his ill-considered improvisation, but a portion of the responsibility also lies with his national security team. Now, the one thing we're seeing here, Alicia, in droves is people fleeing this administration. The question I have for you is, who would you rather be doing press for right now? Biden and Kamala Harris, or Johnny Depp and Amber Heard?
I wouldn't want to be doing it for anyone. That's why I'm in this job and not that job, because my son the other day, teenager, left the house with 2 different shoes on by accident. So I can't control anybody. Let's just make that clear. Also, I do want to say, when I saw we were doing this segment, I'm like, ooh, just wait till they unleash Lara on this topic. And it was well worth it. It was well worth the listen. But when it comes to this, to Guy's point, the numbers don't lie, and that's the problem. And I would like to remind everyone, when Joe Biden became president and it was called by all the networks, there were reporters and anchors on other networks who were crying because they were so relieved that it was him. And so if things have changed, it's not because of the reporters, it's because of the information that is accurate coming out of their mouths regarding gas prices, inflation, and all the other crises that his administration is trying to deal with. And Guy's right. This isn't so much about his messaging problem. The man was in the Senate, for 36 years? He's 79 years old. We've all seen him for decades. He hasn't changed that much other than aging. It's not the messaging. It's the actual information and the reality that his administration is dealing with right now.
So true. When he won, they all yelled, the adults are back in the room, but it seems like the adults should be back in a home.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.